Hola. It's Chris. I was going to say something stupid. But, no, I'm not going to say it. Serious. There's a serious note. We live. Alright, so you may hear some boom, bangs, and explosions in the back. It's not gunfire. If you happen to be watching this at some other time or whatnot, because it's still going to be relevant. This is in the future. This is New Year's Eve. Very close to New Year's, as a matter of fact. It is 10:28, and our video almost didn't get made in time because, of course, I was asleep and I got forced out of my nap because I don't want to waste the whole night. As far as going out somewhere, yeah, I don't think that's happening. So just gonna sit right here at this friggin' house, and yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So happy New Year's, I guess. Should be happy for, I guess, everybody. So anyway, like I said the other day, I kind of got into a funk. The funk will be described later on the end of this video, and we'll talk about that a little bit, somewhat, for what sparked that. But anyway, this is supposed to be more of a happy note video, and I wanted to talk about the good things that happened this year. It was a crazy year for those of you guys that have been around from the beginning. Yeah, crazy, like this, ups and downs and shit. Alright, so, I made a video like a year or so ago. It was called like My Automotive Story, and you know, people have asked me a bunch of times before that, you know, like, well, how did you get here? What did you learn? You know, how did you learn what you learned? How did you get to this place where you are in your life right now? So I got that question often enough where I decided to talk about it, and it's like an hour and change long video. It's an hour of just me vlogging here. Now it was an hour because I had to start out at the time when I was like 19 years old up until the time I was 30. So it was 11 years of history condensed. 11 years of the important history of the automotive side of my life. And then I said, of course, in that I would like to eventually get to the point one day where I'm making a follow-up to that, and, you know, when the channel grows or when I grow or whatnot. Now, originally I wasn't planning on doing one of these every year, and I still don't. But I think even, you know, oddly, you know, it just happened to be that the very next year, a whole bunch of shit happened. A whole bunch. So it kind of warrants it. It warrants a follow-up story. And plus, you know, it's kind of like a motivational thing, you know, because I was down in the dumps myself, and just to go to show you how fast things can pick back up as long as you stay on your grind. So at the end of that story last time, a year and change ago, I had been demoted. I had been removed from my position of authority. Now, I've been with my company for a long time now. Well, not a super long time, about 3 years. In the first 6 months, I left the floor as a mechanic and went to the office, started running the office. 3 months into that, they were talking about giving me a raise. 3 months after that, I still didn't get a raise. So I decided to start looking for a raise. And so I looked for a transfer inside the company to get that. And it happens to be that a shop had been opening up for a service manager position. You know, it was a small shop in the town that I grew up in as a little kid in the middle of nowhere in West Virginia. So I decided to take that. So I moved, got that position, got like a $25,000 raise, and reconnected with family. And then I kind of got cut off from the Honda parts. So that is why VHP engines, or the main reason why VHP engines took a turn into the vlog thing. That, and because, you know, I figured I didn't have a lot of work to film, and people kept asking me questions, so I figured I was going to start answering the questions I was being asked. And then I started making those uploads, and the channel started to blow up, you know, relatively speaking. I mean, it wasn't like a huge overnight success where I was like 1 million subscribers or whatnot. The thing was, at the time, I had like 50 or so subscribers when I moved up there. Within the next 6 months or so, I had 100. And then from that, I was up to 1,000 by year's end. And of course, you know, still steadily, these are the things that continue to grow the channel. This is why it is what it is. And so yeah, there's that. Anyway, so the shitty thing about the whole move, 6 months after I got up there, my company took a big hit. Chicago, you know, the Chicago area, the business got hit, smashed pretty hard. We lost a huge account, and while I wound up, it trickled down to me where eventually I lost my position for it. If you want to know the details of that, you just go watch that other video. But anyway, it left me in a bad position. I lost the money I came up there for. You know, I still wound up with a little bit of a raise compared to what I had left Miami for, but not, you know, big enough to justify the move up there. And so it kind of left me in a bad spot, and I was looking to get back down. So income tax come 2018, and I decided to pick up, move all my shit back, you know, make a phone call. I started talking to some old shops, and I got hooked up and got into a new position as a mechanic. Now, would it have been better if I had waited for a supervisor's position? Yes and no. Yeah, it would have been easier for me to just come, or it would have been maybe, I don't know, better on the long term for me to come back, but I only have one time a year that I can make a big move like that, and it has to be around tax time. So there was just no way that I was going to wind up being able to look for a supervisor position, have one open, and then be ready to go when that happened. You know, I had to be able to go at a certain time, and I couldn't wait for the position, so I just transferred into something that I knew I could get, mechanic. And so I did that. Now we are like, what is it 9 months after my return, something like that, and I'm picking up a $4 raise that also has a promotion attached to it. So now I'll be making $55,000 a year. I was making $60,000 a year when I transferred up there, so I'm $5,000 less than what I was making as a service manager, as a low-level supervisor. And what the trajectory is right now is the position on the shift that I've opened for may be expanding. When that expands, there's another promotion and another raise. So within a year of me coming back, I am almost equal to what I lost, and I have less responsibility doing it too. So it's a great thing. You know, so it's one of those things that when you're just, you know, you're down and you're feeling like the whole fucking world's against you, and you just can't get a break or whatever. You take a step forward, take 2 steps back. You know, you gotta put yourself in the mindset where you're like, just don't focus on it. You know, like, you can't afford to stop. You gotta keep grinding, keep pushing on. So I think it's pretty great that, you know, came down here essentially homeless and broke. And now, not only am I within $5,000 of the money that I moved for, my wife is also working now, making around $33,000 a year. So, despite the fact that I'm $5,000 short of my old income, you know, $33,000 now added to that. So it's actually $25,000 more, or $5, $6, $28,000 more than I was making before. Yeah, give or take. So earlier in the year, when people were asking a lot about why I don't do more work on the channel and whatnot, I was saying, you know, money's a big part of it. You know, money's a big part. I couldn't buy parts. Now, that's not so much money is the issue as is time. You know, by the time we started picking up the income and started making money, it was deep into the year. So, you know, daylight savings time and all that shit. So I don't really have a lot of daylight hours to go out and work, and it seems like the most of the time I'm active anyway is at nighttime. So anyway, that's the next hurdle to get over. You know, hopefully we get a house in the next year or so, and I can have a garage. And then once I have that, then I can have my car parked in the garage and go work at night like I like to do, and it wouldn't be a problem. This car would have been done forever ago. The problem is when I wake up in the morning, it's not like the first thing I want to do is run out and work on the car. And I wake up usually on the weekends at like 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So by the time I wake myself up completely, walk around the house or whatever, sit around, talk to my kids and wife, watch a movie or whatnot, it's already 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I got like 2 hours of daylight left. So you can see how this would be a problem. But anyway, in regards to that, hopefully we can look back at the next couple of months and be like, hey, guess what the Integra's done? Because I got the fluids and stuff I needed the other day. I got the new return line. So now I can put the return line on. I can put the fuel line mounted to the fuel rail now. I'm going to drill out that cable connector for the starter, and hopefully everything will be together. Now, last time I tried to use my old S2000, or not S2000, Honda to start the car, it didn't have any response at all in the car. So there's a chance that I might have to get my base map first before I can start it. But I do think I have an old P20 in the car right now, and I'm going to hopefully get that. My goal is right now just to crank it over and have it run. I don't care, you know, I don't care about anything else. I just want to crank it on, it's alive, and then we go into the next phase of the build, which is mounting up the rest of the turbo kit. And then I can go get my my base map and whatnot and get ready to take it to tune. Because I was crawling under the car the other day, and it was like one of those things where I'm like smacking my face because there's still a decent amount of work left that needs to be done. I need to put the axles in. I need to get the bolt to hold down the shift linkage. I need to replace the tie rod ends. And then, of course, like I said, mount the turbo kit. But the important thing is right now is just to get the thing turned on. Alright, so another big thing for those guys of you that watched it for a long time was my weight loss thing. So yeah, I decided in July I was going to cut weight. Also, and the reason why I decided that is because while I was in my homeless state and I was living with a friend, I promised him that I was going to go. I was like, look, man, it's been, what was it, June, March, April, May, June. Okay, it was three. I had been there for 2.5 months in his house. I was going on my third, and plans that we initially had to move were backfiring everywhere. It was just a nasty situation. And I was like, well, dude, I'm not gonna hold down your house or anything or cause you any problems with your landlord. So I am going to join the Army in like 2 fucking weeks. Like, if I do not find my place to live within the next couple of weeks, then I will talk to the recruiters. I went and talked to the recruiters. I was like 13 or so body fat percentage too high to join to re-enlist. So I decided to start cutting it out, and I think within 4 months I was able to pass tape again. But then circumstances started to change at work. You know, the new shift opened up, a new position, and then eventually, of course, we were able to get a loan from a friend to help finish off the amount we needed for the deposit to move into the place. So it turns out I didn't need to go. But once I started on the weight loss path, I was like, well, let me keep up with this, and let me keep myself Army ready from now and indefinitely for the rest of my life. So that way, just in case anything happens, I can go if I need to. And then eventually I would, think about doing the reserve thing, and that's still on the table. I still wouldn't mind hopping in the reserves for a couple of years. But right now, I'm going to be doing the overnight shift. I'm going to be the shift lead, so it's kind of like I'm going to have to go. They're saying that if I re-enlist, I'm going to have to go out to El Paso, go to Fort Bliss for a while to do like a refresher course and whatnot, and that'll be like a month. So I can't really, hey, let me get this promotion, and then I'm going to be out for a month. That's a no-go. So yeah, that's on an indefinite hold, but it's still an option I'm thinking about. All right, so yeah, so 2018, man, I was able to get back to Florida where I got immense amounts of Honda parts and start to reconnect with people. I said I wanted to build a crew. Now, things aren't happening as fast as I would like them to, but they are moving in that direction. I've already got 3 people I'm talking to that are like their baseline skeleton. I'm kind of waiting to see what happens in 2019, where that goes. One kid is getting that B18 block that's built, and I might be possibly giving somebody else a K28-3, and another guy a single cam. So there's that. So I have been still relatively low key. I've been buying parts. I haven't really been trying to sell anything, but I am hopefully turning that around with the K28-3s. The next, so I said on Facebook the other day when I finished, or Instagram, I finished the K28-2. A K28-3 is going on right after that. I got pistons for that, and then I just talked to someone on Instagram who's going to sell me some other a couple more set of pistons, so I'll have enough to do 3. And then one of those engines I'm going to give away to Irvin Dorsey. I would like to be able to say I'm going to drive up to Honda Day and take the damn engine and hand deliver it, but probably not going to happen. Probably going to fly, but I'll just ship it up there, and then Irvin will have that. Hopefully we can do some stuff with that in the future. So as far as future collabs, there's that. Me and Irvin have been talking back and forth, and I'm definitely going to go link up with him when I go up north to Maryland for H Day, the first to go around, and see what we can do there. And hopefully, maybe we can even do that again sometime afterwards. So 2019, I've talked about a whole bunch of times, so I'm going to be flying around to meet people. That's another thing that was big for the channel this year. I've been acknowledged before. I talked to Luke from Four Piston, was the first guy to ever have a name to talk to me. He DM'd me to thank me for the videos I was making, and I thought that was awesome. So there was that, and then, of course, eventually the thing that happened with Nipper Racing and the CSS and all those guys, that was awesome too. And hopefully the Integra will be running out well, and that will be advertisement for those guys. I'm going to sticker bomb the shit out of it with all the decals I got. And then one of the big things for me that was a big personal awesomeness was Alex from Humble. Of course, like I showed you guys, he did follow me on IG, and I've talked to him a bunch of times. And he's also the guy who inspired me to take these fucking trips to go out there and meet people. Like, hey, come out and say hi. You know what? Why not? Why not do that? That sounds like a fucking awesome idea. Alright, so I guess it will lead me into the last little bit. I told you my funk killer and YouTube progress, man. So some of you guys here that have been long term, I'm not going to go into details because I do not want to drag it up. As far as I'm concerned, I took it out. I put the topic on its knees. I shot it in the fucking head. It bled out in the dirt. I buried it, and that's the way it's going to be. And we're going to use this as a lesson to move forward. And yeah, so there was an issue that happened about a year or so ago, like in August, where I was still in my YouTube infancy, I'll claim. You know, I'll say that. I was around about 1,000 subscribers, maybe a little less. Don't remember for sure, but I know it was around that area. And I was getting hit a lot by a lot of negative comments. It's funny, nowadays, I don't get as much hate, as much, you know, people contradicting. You know, it still happens, but not as often as it used to. I don't know why that is. But at the time, I was getting bombarded by fans from another channel who were just, I don't know, I don't want to claim hate. I don't know why they were doing what they were doing. It's just a constant disagreement. That eventually led to me being pissed off and lashing out. You guys know that I do that. You know, I do have that problem where I talk shit a lot. But it was never unwarranted, though. At least not unmerited. It's not for no reason. People talk shit to me. Eventually, it builds up and I pop off. You know, so that's something I'm going to try and put a bigger chokehold on. I know I said I would never change the way I talk, and that's true. I can't. I mean, I say fuck way too much. It's part of my vocabulary. It's deeply embedded in it. So that's not going to change. But I do want to change the way I react to certain people in certain situations. I'm going to continue to just block people and delete comments like that, you know, or whatnot. Because I just, you know, and try not to respond. You know, that's what people want. They want to get under your skin, and they want you to say something back. And I think that you shouldn't always be silent. There are some times where it does merit an answer back. But I don't think I'll be taking it as far as I have before in the past. I'm just going to let it be and try to let it go over my head. Also, so I said some shit about these other guys, this other channel, and the shit I was saying was wrong and right. I was right on what I was saying to an extent, but what I was saying about these people was wrong, and that's just because the information I was getting about these people was wrong. So I was being told something that wasn't true, and I was answering that based off of, you know, the false information I was given. So at the end of the day, it kind of made me look like a fucking huge asshole, and I was sorry about that. Now, these guys and their what the hell they are or whatnot, I know that there is a lot of controversy around these people because of things that happen, but that's what happens when you build a channel with multiple people. Controversy will eventually arise from that. It's just, unless it's, I mean, even if it's your own family, it's hard to have a business like that that's going to work successfully without having any controversy around it. Unless your name is the Fertitta Brothers and Dana White. That's the only time. Apparently that's the only big business I've ever seen that has multiple people where they were golden. They made it work with no controversy, and eventually when it ended on a very good note for them. All right, so anyway, yeah, so that whole shit happened, and it came up in conversation on my personal Facebook. There's a bunch of you subscribers that have found me on Facebook, and a handful of you guys that have found me there actually engaged in conversation. And conversation came from it. The thread got enormous, and I made a public apology. Now, if you didn't see it, it was on Instagram. I left it up for about 24 hours. Now, the reason why I took it down, the reason why I posted it, right? The reason why I posted it is because I wanted to point out to Kenny, the person who wound up putting me in check here, that I was doing what I said I was going to do. I said I was going to apologize, and I was going to message him. I was going to DM the guys. So I did do that. I did DM the guys, and like I expected, I got no response or whatnot. I didn't expect a response, but it was just to say that, hey, I said I was going to do this, and I did it. And so I posted it publicly and tagged dudes that way. He's like, hey, look, this is me making a public apology, and I'm posting the conversation so that way hopefully we can clear up the topics here. This is the reason why I said what I said, and this is the reason now why I'm apologizing, and there's that. Now, of course, there's no response for that, and it's not something I want to leave up long term. You know, I don't need people going on my Instagram and seeing that shit all the time, so I just deleted it. I made my apology, I made the point. It's gone now. So anyway, here's what got me in the funk from that shit. You know, even though I wasn't like totally wrong there, and that's the reason why I was able to put this down and lay it to rest, because it was like, he's like, I got what you said. I know you meant to say this, but what you said eventually was wrong, and it was poorly worded. I was like, all right, cool, man. As long as you can see where I'm coming from and not just some kind of random attack that I was being, you know, random baseless attack. That's the, you know, that's it. And even in that whole situation, I did always address that it wasn't really them directly. It was the fans that I was mad and responding to. And then another thing too was, guys, like if you think, well, Chris, why didn't you reach out to them directly or whatnot? I had like 1,000 or less subscribers, and the channel we're talking about here has like 200,000. And just like right now, how I DM'd the guy, no response, that's exactly what would have happened if I would have tried to approach these guys. I would have gotten no response. I'm a nobody. So that's why I never did it, and that's why I just raged out the internet, and it wound up getting back to them, and they wound up saying something publicly, you know, which is like, really, man, you know, that's why I was, you know, like, that's why the saltiness kind of continued. I was like, okay, so I'm a tiny channel, didn't expect to get a response from you guys. You guys responded, but instead of, you know, just saying, hey, what's up with me, because I would have definitely answered you, you know, I got publicly, you know, made fun of or whatnot. And it's not like a big deal or anything. I didn't care about that. But I'm just saying, you know, I didn't expect it to get back to him, and it did. And then when it did get back to him, it wasn't, I think, properly addressed. And, you know, even though I may have been wrong for the way it started, you know, still, that's the situation. Like, I would never have imagined that these guys were going to pay attention to it. And if I'd known that it would have been, then maybe I would have handled it a little bit different. And it's not like I'm trying to sneak this behind somebody's back or whatnot. It's just that, that's the way it went. That's the way it was. But anyway, so that kind of put a lot of perspective on the situation here. At the time, 1,000 or less subscribers, I still didn't consider myself much. And I guess I still don't. But I'm right and wrong about that. I shouldn't have, you know. It's funny. I've told you guys a bunch of times I'm small, but I get noticed by the people I really care about and stuff like that. But I never really let it sink in, you know, where this channel has gone to so far in a short amount of time. So 5 days ago, I had 90 subscribers less than what I have right now. So my growth, my channel growth is back to, it's actually better than what it was. You know, it's better than what it was a year ago. And a year ago, at this time last year, I was around 3,500 subs or 3,300 or right around 3,000. So I've more than doubled in the past year, and that's with me taking what essentially was a 5-month layoff. There was a 5-month stretch this year where I pretty much didn't put out anything that was normal for the content. I was just putting out random shit every once in a while. And so more than doubled with about, you know, 7 months worth of hard work. So another thing I've said a bunch of times where, yeah, this channel is slow and it grows slow and whatnot, but it's steadily growing, and I don't think it's going to stop. But I think that when Kenny put me in check and he's like, hey, man, you know, it's your responsibility to take care of the information you put out and the way you present yourself and all these things, it's like, yeah, fuck, dude, you got a point. You know, I'm reaching out to over 6,000 people now, and the growth is very much a steady thing. I think it's safe to say that 10,000 might be a number that we see this year. It's possible. And if not, then it will be steadily marching towards that number. And I think that once we hit that 10,000 subscriber landmark, this is definitely a channel that's firmly established in the car world. There are some car channels that are huge, but I would say looking at contemporaries, looking at a lot of the guys around me, like the Honda Street Garage or whatnot, the last time I saw Honda Street Garage was earlier this year, and the last time I peeked in on him, he had like 60,000 or 80,000 subscribers, something like that. So I would say that a lot of these smaller Honda channels, they don't get enormous. So I think that at 10,000, I'm pretty firmly established in the community, and the reach is pretty big. And the fact that I go out and buy parts and people know who I am, I think that reach is pretty big. So I will be saying that I will be taking better care in the future on how I approach things on YouTube. And just, I think about also reaching out to these other smaller channels. I said I wanted to do that, and you know, by doing my shout outs that I do every once in a while, and it just didn't go that way. You know, you guys don't care about watching that here. That's what Honda Vlogs is for. Thank you for Christian for that. So I think that the best way I can give out some love in the community would just be to pay attention, pay better attention. And I know I'm shitty at watching people's channels, but I think that at least once a week I need to pick out some time to watch some non-humble stuff and go out and watch some of these other guys and maybe leave some comments, stuff like that. You know, I don't want to think too much of myself and like, oh, bro, I'm commenting on here. So, but at the same time too, I have deliberately kept myself out from people's comments. So I think that I'll do stuff like that more often. Because I know what it's like for me when I have my, you know, big peers looking down on me and actually engaging. I know how exciting that can be, and maybe, hopefully, I can be that way for somebody else. I don't know. I don't know how people, in generally speaking, view me in the community, and I don't know if that's going to make a difference for anybody, or if it's going to make anybody happy or whatnot. But hey, fucking, we don't know. Just gotta try. I'm going to try and pay it forward a little bit more on just on communicating with other people and whatnot, and maybe giving some pointers out, because VHB Engine is fucking successful, man. Like, I may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I'm a lot of fucking people's cup of tea, and we're steadily marching forward with growth. So, yeah, maybe I could do that, you know. And, so, yeah, it kind of, the reason why I was in a funk, man, is it kind of made me feel embarrassed and ashamed. You know, like, if you watched the older video and I told you that time my boss yelled at me and shit, and, you know, there are certain moments that you have in your life that you can always look back to, and you always know exactly how shitty you felt in that situation. And when dude hit me with that, man, I felt really shitty. So I was like, I can't be feeling shitty. And I had been saying at the same time that I don't want any beef with anybody. So I even went back and I deleted some other videos that made it look like I was throwing shade. You know, I was, you know, there's one time I know that I've been deliberately salty. Alright? And some of you guys know that. A lot of you guys don't, because it's only had 500 views. And I'm thankful for that, you know. So I deleted it. I was like, we don't want that. We don't want to come off that way. You know, we don't need that kind of shit here. And then another video where I wasn't really, you know, talking shit about somebody, but it maybe misconstrued that I was talking shit. So, nope, get that down here, out of here, too. I don't want anything that may look like I'm trying to throw shade at somebody. And I may not be the best with communications, and I don't go out and I don't talk to a lot of people. But mainly it's just because I think it's a bit of my insecurity, man. I don't want to go and put myself out there to somebody and make it seem like I'm trying to gain your attention for somebody to just laugh me away and look at it like, oh, look at this thirsty motherfucker. And so that's why I prefer to have other people make the first move. And I'm like that in relationships too, man. I'm even like that with females. You know, if I enjoy your company or whatnot, I'm real talkative to you. But as far as making anything move to be serious or have any serious communication, I just tend to wait, you know, for somebody else, because I'm not gonna put myself out there and it looks stupid when I get laughed at, you know. So yeah, hopefully we can move beyond that. I can build a little bit more confidence in myself over the next year and talk to people more without having to be spoken to first. So if you are another YouTuber out there or whatnot, yeah, feel free to talk to me, man. And if you got something you think that I'd be interested in watching, hey, I tell people all the time. You're like, oh, you're like, have you seen this, or do you know about this product or whatnot? Like, leave a link. Drop me a link in the comments, and a lot of times I'll check it out when the day's winding down and I ain't got shit to do. So, yeah, a lot of good things happened for Chris at the VHB Engines this year. Maybe not exciting and high pace as we have wanted it to be, but I think we're taking a very strong leap in the right direction. The car is almost done after all the time that I've been sitting on it. Then the engine block for the RS6 I have is going to be done, and hopefully we'll be moving on to that in the next couple of months. And I'm going to be going to Honda Day in April, and maybe going to Import Face Off in Bradenton next month in a couple weeks. So I would like to move around a lot more, and however things go in Honda Day this year, when I go up there in April, that's going to be the deciding factor of what I do moving forward as far as taking any more trips. Hopefully everything's fine and everything's great. I get to meet with everybody, and we kick it off or whatnot. I mean, I don't expect to be best buddies with everybody, but it'd be cool to think that I could be able to meet up with these guys again and talk some more in the future. It'd be great. And there's a lot of things that these guys have that they can teach me, because I'm not a genius, you know. Maybe that's something I need to add into my videos more often. I know a lot of guys talk about, you know, oh, you're a Honda guru and all that stuff. You're a fucking Honda expert. And I still feel a little, you know, like, I feel a little giggly and fucking blushy when I'm like, Honda expert. I'm like, Now, generally speaking, when I talk about stuff, I do feel very confident in what I'm talking about. I don't like to be wrong. I don't like to be wrong. And it's not saying that I'm like, I'll fight you if you're saying I'm wrong. It's just that a lot of times when I push back on people when they're giving me, telling me I'm wrong, is because I've already done, you know, I've either done it already or I've done my homework, and I feel confident, very confident in what I'm saying. So that's why I tend to be a little stubborn when I get pushed against, you know, like, hey, it is what it is. But at the same time too, I'm not a fucking expert or genius. You know, like I said, I firmly feel confident in what I'm saying for the most part. You know, I'm not a dummy. And this is not just me spitting out nonsense and theories. This is, most of this shit is, you know, I know about. But there's still a lot of things that I can learn, and hopefully we'll be learning in the future. And yeah, so at this point, I think the only way I can learn is to do more. I need to continue to do more. Hopefully I'll be doing more as the years go by, and also link up with people who have done more often. So hopefully getting out here and traveling this year and seeing a lot of you guys, and well, and continue to grow here and see everybody on YouTube. Do great stuff. And also, yeah, just wanted to say I'm definitely going to be taking my role on YouTube a little bit more seriously. I think it's gonna. I don't want to, again, I don't want to fucking like, oh my god, I'm some huge deal. I'm not a huge deal, but at the same time, I'm twice the size as I was a year ago and steadily growing. And who knows, man? Maybe one day I will be somewhat of an impact on YouTube here, and I don't want to come off as a hater, as a dickhead, as a lot of things. So carry on with my responsibilities here with you guys and move forward. And I feel like I'm starting to ramble now, so we're going to wrap it up. I just want to say Happy New Year's, guys, and if you did watch this whole thing, thank you very much. And hopefully in the new year, man, the next year will be bigger than this year, and the money's there, and hopefully the people will be there, and the projects will be there, and bigger things will happen, and I can start maybe providing you guys with more stuff like I've been saying I want to do for the longest time. Alright, guys, thanks for your patience, and thanks for sticking around, thanks for subscribing and everything you guys have done, and peace. See y'all in 2019.